Hi, I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of Beer to Whiskey. In my ongoing mission to spread the gospel of good taste, today I find myself in Tucson, Arizona. I'm at the Borderlands Brewing Company. And before we get rolling here, you see the little thumb icon? If you like what you see, click on that. At the end of the video, there's an opportunity to click on other videos and to also subscribe. Click on the little round Beer to Whiskey icon, and you'll be all hooked up. And having done all the self-promotion, gotten that out of the way here.
It's important.
Yeah. I'm here with Mike Malazzi, and Mike is the managing partner here, sort of oversees things. And thanks for the invite, Mike.
Yeah, of course.
Really happy to be here. So tell me, how'd this place get going? How'd you get started?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. So I met my business partner 9 years ago on the kickball field. So I moved out here after graduate school. I got my PhD in microbiology in Chicago at Loyola. And I was moving out here to take a research position at the U of A. And I didn't know anyone out here, but my sister knew someone and was like her best friend from high school, and she was doing her master's in public health. And so she's like, why don't you come to this kickball game we play every Monday? And that's where I met my business partner. And
so this was an adults kickball league kind of.
Yes,
oh, okay,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not just for kids anymore. I think it's just our generation trying to relive our youth. Actually,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But so yeah, we just started talking, and he had a home brew set up, and we started brewing together. And like after our first batch, we were like, let's start a brewery.
Really? Just that quick?
Yeah.
You came up with that idea?
Yeah. I mean, I think we were both half joking, but
yeah,
together that put together one full joke, and one serious plan.
So did you? How long from the moment you went, okay, why don't we do this? Did you actually get working on it and get moving in that direction?
Yeah, so I met Miles in 2009, and we opened at the very tail end of 2011.
That's pretty quick to get a business plan together and come up with a couple of beers that you thought you could actually get people to buy. And
yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
that's remarkable. Let me just mention, we're doing something totally different for Beer to Whiskey. We're outside today, and we're in Tucson. So yesterday it was 102. Today I think it's only in the low 90s. Yeah. It's a little noisy inside. It's a little noisy outside. We got a street just behind the cameras. We got a train.
It's National Train Day.
Yeah, it's National Train Day, and we've got a train that's sitting behind us. And here we got a party wagon going by on the street. So there's going to be some noises, and there may be a start and stop or two as the trains go by. But anyway, we're gonna tough it out because that's what we do at Beer to Whiskey. So what was your first beer? What was the first beer that you went, okay, this is a beer that we can market?
Of our own?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would say it was definitely the Noche Dulce. That was our first real big hit with consumers, and one that I really enjoy. And it's a vanilla porter made with Mexican vanilla from Merida, which is like the Yucatan Peninsula.
So that's not on your taps now, though, right?
I don't know if we have it on tap. We have it in cans right now.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it on taps. Is that a year-round thing for you guys still?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll have to try one of those because I'm a dark beer guy.
Yeah, I'll have to give you
heart. Yeah.
a 4-pack.
Even better. I love this job. Even better. So how many year-round beers are you guys producing now?
Well, there's some that we're kind of considering for the chopping block to be year-round, but right now we have the Noche Dulce. We have this beer, which is our Luxero. We have Prickly Pear Wheat and our Tool Avenue IPA. Those are the four big.
And the amber that you've got on tap right now, the Forever Amber. What's the
Amber Trails?
Amber Trails. That's it. Which I've had. I had a few of yesterday or the day before, and I've had a couple today. I think that's a marvelous beer.
Yeah, that we intended really to only have for the tap room because people kept asking us for an amber. So
right.
Try to keep give the people what they want.
Have you always been a craft beer guy, or was there a point where you were drinking Bud or Coors or something and kind of flipped?
I've always been a craft beer guy, and I think the major reason for that is I went to undergrad in Colorado State in Fort Collins, which, as you probably know, is a beer mecca.
Right.
And when I started there, and I'll leave the year out, when I started there, New Belgium and Odell's were just really coming to prominence. And so when we went to college parties, it was like you had a pony of something good first.
Right.
And then, for financial reasons,
then
you switched to the macro brews.
When you started drinking beer, what was your favorite craft?
I would have to say it was probably Sunshine Wheat.
Made by?
New Belgium.
New Belgium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what was the attraction to that?
I think it was, it's good. It's a solid beer. It's not the most remarkable beer in terms of the craft beer scene, but it's a solid beer, and they would always serve it with an orange, or something. It just made you feel like happiness and summer and college, and that's why.
Yeah. Hey, you can't
Sunshine Wheat.
Yeah, exactly. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
So, what Borderlands? I assume I know that we're within spitting distance of the Mexican border here. Was that the reason for Borderlands, or is there something a little more complex to that?
Well, we
choice?
wanted to really be. When we started, there was only 3 breweries in town, and we didn't feel like they really cast their identity as the place that they existed in.
Right.
And that was important to us. It's why we're downtown. It's why we do a lot of the things we do. And being near the border is a huge part of the culture here. It's a bilingual place. It's a mix of cultures, mix of languages. The food is awesome.
Yep.
So we wanted to highlight that, especially about what we were identifying as.
What kind of production are you guys doing here? What are you cranking out a year?
We do about 170 to like 160 barrels a month. But we're actually just getting ready to undergo a major production increase. So
Right.
Yeah.
And you're distributing to some places, and
We're distributed throughout the state and actually into Sonora, which is the neighboring state in Mexico.
oh, really? Well, that's kind of different.
Yeah.
What kind of problems does that create? What kind of hurdles do you have to overcome to do that?
Well, luckily we have an amazing partner brewery down there that's owned by my friends. It's called Buku Bichi Brewing. It's based in Hermosillo. And they are the importer. So they deal with all the hassles. And then we also work with a distribution company that focuses on the import and export of Mexican craft beer. It's called Alta California, and it's run by one of my other friends, JP.
I find that fascinating. Are you doing any sort of collaborations with them?
I'm glad you asked. So he's good at this. So this beer, which is called Luxero, and I don't know if your viewers can see the poster back there, but
it hasn't blown over yet. The wind's trying to get it, but it hasn't blown yet.
We're actually going to be launching this as a joint venture between the 2 breweries, because we'd like to start exporting more to Sonora, and they'd like to maybe export a little bit here someday as well.
Sure.
Once they get more production.
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, let's do this joint venture. I mean, people know their brand down there, but they don't know our brand necessarily. And so on that side of the border, it's going to be called the Spring Breaker, as kind of a tongue-in-cheek tip of the hat to all the Spring Breakers that go down there. And up here it'll be known as Luxero.
Yeah.
So we're going to launch that in cans probably the end of this year.
Are you selling it here yet, or are you just?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's.
I thought maybe we're getting some sort of advanced.
It's also been called the Arizona Ale, which is not a copyrightable, brandable
Okay.
name.
All right.
It's too generic.
All right. But that's what. Yeah. That's
Same
that is up.
recipe.
That is up on the.
But and it's not, it's funny because it's not the most crafty of craft beers. It's a blonde style ale.
Right.
But going back to our conversation about give the people what they want, that's what people are drinking now. Like, you're seeing a huge trend in the craft brewing industry to shift towards more sessionable beers that people can drink more than one
Sure.
or two of and still like conduct themselves in a respectable
Sure.
way.
Well, it can't. I'm sure people who watch this with any regularity, both those people who watch this with any regularity, have heard me say 100 times, I'm a brown porter stout. That's what I really like.
Yeah.
But you can only drink one 11%
Right.
beer.
Right.
And so I think sessions are great, particularly where
This
you
climate.
guys are.
Yeah. And also on that side of the border, craft beer or
there goes the sign.
cerveza artesanal, as it's called.
Right.
It's a very new thing, especially in Sonora. Not so much in Tijuana, where it's right across the border from San Diego.
Right.
But so you have to you have to educate people about craft beer.
Yeah.
And this is training wheels.
Right.
It brings them in the door.
You've got to have something that when a craft beer drinker wants to bring their significant other in, who may not maybe not even be a beer drinker.
Right. We ended up getting a beer and wine license to be able to sell wine and cider and things like that. Just so if you have an SO that doesn't, or a celiac or something.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question, and this is not an original question that I came up with, but it's something I was at Black Rock Brewery yesterday talking to Tony Williams over there, and we got done with the interview, and he was like, "You know what you ought to ask?"
To me?
To anybody,
Oh,
to
okay.
any of you guys is, which I didn't even think to ask before this, but how much time do you spend here a week?
Well, it's a good question. So I'm kind of in a unique situation, although maybe not so unique because I know a lot of the brewery owners have other jobs.
Right.
And I'm still doing research at the university. So I'd say I spend about 30 hours of my week working for the brewery, but it's not always here. I probably spend about 20 hours a week here. Yeah.
Okay. And is that, and when you say you're still doing research at the university, would you consider that your daylight job, your daytime job? Is that a 40-hour a week kind of thing, or is that something that you're just...
Yeah, it's classified as full-time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but to have a full-time job and still be putting in 20 or 30 hours on the brewery, that's still pretty hefty.
Yeah.
Pretty hefty.
Kind of the new reality that our generation is faced with.
Yeah.
But it has retirement and benefits.
This beer is, what's the alcohol content?
It's 5%.
5%,
Yeah.
which is sessionable, certainly. And what should I be tasting as I'm sipping away at it?
So we wanted to make it very approachable. So it's kind of very middle of the road in terms of blondes, which is not a real style. It's
Right.
a Kolsch, essentially, but no one knows what Kolsch is. So we're kind of aiming in the middle of the road between the sort of Pilsner end of the spectrum, which you can get with some, and the very malty Kolsches, which are not super appealing to a lot of folks.
Should I be getting citrus in this?
You might get a little bit.
I'm tasting some citrus in this. So, what does a weekend normally look like here? You've got a pretty good sized courtyard out here.
Yeah.
You've got a fair size tasting room inside. Do you guys kind of pack it out?
Yeah, I mean, this is a good time to do the interview because it's kind of at a lull between the earlier. We just had commencement here at the university, so Pete told me our main beer tender right now is saying that 10 people were lined up outside the door. They came from graduation and they wanted to get a beer.
That's what was, we were looking at when I was here earlier today, we were looking at this group of people, all ages, but it was obviously grandparents and parents, and then, some teenagers or 20-somethings, and we thought it was a Mother's Day kind of thing, but it was probably a commencement.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
But no, we have live music.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, throughout the weekend. Tonight it's a kind of a cool Tucson-y connection. Tucson's a very small town of 1 million people.
Yeah.
Everyone knows everybody else. It's like 1 degree of separation.
Right.
So the band that's going to play, they're called the Tortilla Gut Pluckers. They're a bluegrass band.
Really?
Yeah, and they're guys about your age. And
what do you mean by that, Mike? What do you mean by that?
Wise.
Seasoned.
Yeah, seasoned.
Well seasoned.
So the one of the lead singers, his name's Dr. Lane Johnson. He's a physician, and his daughter works for us on the brewing side, Cassidy Johnson, one of our brewers. Hi, Cassidy. She's actually in South Carolina right now.
Is that right?
That's right.
Well, bless her heart.
Yeah. His son has worked for us, and he actually ran the residency program that my business partner went through after he finished med school.
You said you wanted a double production over the next year. Do you look at this as, boy, at some point we're going to outgrow this space?
Yes, that's already happened.
It's already okay.
Yeah.
Because it does seem the brewery area, the brew floor seems kind of compact.
Yeah. So we realized that pretty quickly, and actually this just started to happen. So we're actually entering into a joint venture with another brewery here in town called Sentinel Peak Brewing.
Okay.
It's owned by 3 of my friends that are firefighters, and they had the same issue. Like, they needed to start producing a lot more beer, and they actually signed a lease just down the street from us, and we had just bought a new 40-barrel bright tank, and we were going to bring it in, and we were like, hold on a sec. Like, we've done a lot of structural reinforcements to the building just to take all the weight of the brewing.
Yeah, right.
We're like, can this take the extra weight of this tank? And the engineer basically said no. So we're like, okay,
Whoops.
Well, now we're going to have to expand a lot faster than we thought.
Yeah.
So, because there's no more floor space, so the only way to go is up. So we're actually entering a joint venture with the guys from Sentinel Peak, and we're going to share the costs of that new space and share some equipment, buy grain together to get the economy of scale.
Are you going to keep your tap room here?
He did tap room stay, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I like the
vibe is pretty cool here.
Yeah, I like the vibe of this. The old brick and the.
It's a 100-year-old produce warehouse, actually.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it was. Thule and Sons Produce. It's a Lebanese family that still runs produce in Tucson.
So that's how you pronounce the street name?
Yeah, so the street name is an anglicized version of it. Touli is the original spelling of the name.
Okay.
And they changed it to Toole.
But it's still pronounced Thule?
No, people just say Toole.
I know, that's what.
There's a ton of streets in Tucson that have commonly pronounced.
Okay, because my buddy who lives here, who I've been struggling to get up and get around here with, pronounced it Toole, and I pronounced it Toole. I thought it was Toole.
That's how people say it.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of people don't know the connection between the produce family and the street name.
Okay. Well, see, we learned something.
Yeah.
We learned
History.
something. That's it. All right. It's I don't know about you. I'm getting a little warm.
It's warm.
It's a little warm out here. So, thanks again for the invite, Mike.
Of course.
And until next time.